to add to item number 1, even though that kind of was item number 2?
You need a recommendation to move.
I know, I just want to make sure President Houston didn't want to make a motion on the vacuum. Former President Houston, I keep calling you that.
Buried lines, all that stuff. Vac truck is very necessary. I won't knock you for
Buried
that.
lines?
For all the buried, yes,
Oh,
cables.
we're not gonna have buried lines. Oh,
Smart aleck.
I was just checking.
Oh boy.
Keep going, Don.
Sorry, Don, I'm riding up there.
Anyway, this is something that the board needs to consider. First of all, you can hire a vac truck at, where's my numbers here? For 4 hours, costs about $1,350 with the operator. And that includes, what was it, $235 an hour? I thought I wrote that down. Anyway, it's about $1,350 for 4 hours time, including dump charge and renting a vac truck. So I think you're looking at $450,000 instead of $250,000. I think you could do a lot of math on that. You can do it. Put it this way: we use Wanasec all the time for digging up stuff. I just think the board should consider maybe putting a budget to rent it with the operator. You don't have the insurance cost. You don't have the liability. You don't have the maintenance. We've had so many problems with truck maintenance. It's just been unbelievable. There's something to be said about contracting out, calling somebody and say, hey, come suck this hole out and write them a check, and you don't have to worry about the truck. You don't have to worry about anything. And when the price went up $200,000,
how much do you use a vehicle like that?
It's not the number of times you use it, it's the fact when you need it, you
So-
gotta have it.
The other side of that, the other 200,000 of that is you have a sewer backup right now and you're backing 12 houses up. How fast you gonna get a contractor out here?
That's the whole point, is
Right.
when we need it now, not contractor.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Or
I don't disagree, I asked the same
Yeah.
question, Tom.
you're on their schedule for
Right.
any locating and
I'm just asking the question to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes a machine like that, first of all, at the $250,000 number, you've got to use it, I figured 15 times a year with just a small amount of maintenance. You got to use it 15 times a year or 60 hours a year. That was at $250,000 just to justify
Yes, now you gotta double it.
using it.
30
Yeah,
times a year.
yeah. So I mean, if you could get a contractor that would say, "Hey, we'll pay you double if we call you when you show up when you on time or something." But it's just a thought. It's just that's a lot of money and to sit there. I guess in my mind, I've seen so many of those repair bills for trucks sitting there. There's been so many problems when you're not using them. You get more problems when you're not using them. I guess sometimes contracting is. I just think it's worth looking at it, but Rick has to deal with it and stuff. So
Is that a brand new unit?
Yeah.
Okay.
One thought would be to get a used one, but it's gonna be a maintenance headache.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
you got-
Yeah, used
I'd
one-
rather get a new
used one
one
you're
than
gonna get-
go through the whole
I get
maintenance
it.
cycle on it than.
but there's different. I'm not gonna go through. There's 8-wheel. There's smaller ones. We got a small one now. There's all kinds of gamut for. I don't know what you looked at.
this is as small as you can get.
And I haven't dug into it. I was just looking at the numbers going, maybe we should, it's kind of like we don't buy certain machines. We're not buying a street
We're
sweeper.
not buying a stump.
We don't buy a street sweeper because we contract it out. It's cheaper. It makes more sense. Anyway, that was my point I wanted to bring up. It shouldn't be it's something that should be considered and looked at rather than just saying, all right, put it in the budget and we're gonna spend $450,000.
I tend to agree with that. I mean, it's a big expense. And given what we've just now heard tonight,
So I'm gonna bring up a business point. I think oftentimes when we're around the table, this goes back to your committee structure. Just here in this room with this conversation, we have treated sewer and water money as a business where we're charged with serving the customers as if it's tax money. It's not. We're there to run that business well on behalf of those customers. And so when we talk about spending $450,000 of sewer ratepayer and water ratepayer money, is because we've identified there's a service that needs to be delivered ASAP, not on a delay. You need a utility commission that looks at utility issues and makes recommendations on utilities matters because they're experts in utility stuff. I'm not. I know
Same
enough to be
Public Works.
dangerous. Public Works is not it. And I've had this issue for a long time, which is you need engineers and folks that do plumbing for a living on a utilities commission that when Rick brings up some utility stuff, they know how to handle that. The higher caliber people we get serving within our village governance structure, the better policy outcomes we're gonna get. When any of us attempts to make expert decisions on something that we're not an expert in, we're just throwing a Hail Mary, right? I know enough to tell you this should be considered. I don't know enough to tell you, hey, I've got daily contacts with 10 contractors, and Rick, if you'll just call this one contractor, he can solve your problems. I don't have those contacts.
So you're recommending a totally separate entity, a utility entity?
I've been recommending this for 8 years.
Because a lot of the communities around here have that.
Yes, there's a reason for it. So I have one in Sister Bay, and it was a quarter of the population size, or a fifth of the population size.
Mm-hmm.
You get 3 members on there that are, well, you gotta find people.
Anybody, again, he'll just get the plug out of the way right now. If you know anybody knows anybody, send them my way. I'd be more than happy to talk with them, more than happy to put them on the utilities committee. Send them my way.
Well, they usually have a separate tax ID number, they have a separate board, they have a lot of separate,
So big
totally
cities,
separate
yes,
issues.
cities do that. They spin them off as their own
Yes.
thing. As a village, they still get housed underneath our financial umbrella.
Okay, so going back